All right, today I wanted to talk about something a little bit different. We're going to focus just on Topstep, the prop firm that's been around for forever. And you may already be trading a combine, or maybe you're already into a funded stage. And if you're like me, you undoubtedly have come across questions at some point. There's always something that seems to happen to you that you just can't quite find the answer that you were looking for when you go searching online, or you get conflicting answers, or you see stuff from 7 years ago and you're wondering, is it even still the same? Now, thankfully, Topstep does have a pretty good online kind of help section on their website that I feel like is pretty clear and straightforward, unlike some other prop firms out there who write entire books on their website about one single rule. We won't mention any names. However, I do know that sometimes you're just looking for the straight answer. And so I wanted to try and just cover a bunch of questions about Topstep all in one video. So let's just hop straight in. First up, what is Topstep? Well, Topstep is a futures platform. They are based in Chicago. So they've been around since 2012, which is a pretty long time. You pay a monthly subscription, just like like most prop firms, and you get an evaluation, you get an opportunity to pass that evaluation, which they call a trading combine, and then you get access to a funded account after that. And this firm essentially started the prop firm space in the industry as we know it in the futures market. Number 2, is Topstep legitimate? Well, it should be pretty obvious with our last question's answer. Yes, right? They have documented payout history. I've been paid by them many, many times. They have years of Trustpilot reviews, which you can go read. However, you will notice in the last year a lot of reviews coming in that are pretty negative. And just to clear some of that up, I think a lot of that has actually been cleared up. They had some pretty big issues and some pretty big changes over the last year that a lot of people were not a fan of. However, I think most of those issues are actually better. And I think the last time I looked, those Trustpilot reviews were actually starting to go back in the correct direction. All right, number 3, what is a trading combine? Well, as I said a minute ago, this is their test. They call, you find some prop firms call it a test, an evaluation, a combine. They all have their own names for all these different accounts. But this is where you're given a simulated account. You have a profit target that you need to hit, a total max loss that you can hit in that account. And if you hit that max loss, then you lose the account. And there is no consistency rule once you get into the funded account, but there is in their trading combine, and that is a 50% consistency rule, which we'll get into in a few minutes. All right, number 4, what account sizes are available? Well, right now there are 3 options. They have a $50,000 account, a $100,000 account, and a $150,000 account. Each one of those has their own max loss limit, which is the actual account size that you're trading. For example, the 50K account, you don't actually have access to $50,000 worth of funds. You only have $2,000 worth of funds, because once you lose $2,000, you lose the account. They all have their own profit targets as well. So the $50,000 account has a $3,000 profit target. The $100,000 account has a $6,000 target, and the $150,000 account has a $9,000 target. All right, number 5, how much does the trading combine cost? Now, I'm not going to give you the exact numbers actually, because this has changed recently, and I think it will probably change again. But they do have 2 paths that you can choose, and that is the normal route, which is you pay a fee for the account, and then you pay a separate fee for activating the account after you pass the combine to get into a funded account. Or there's the other route, which is you pay a no activation fee account. It's a little bit more upfront, but you save a little bit of money in the long run, and you don't have to pay the activation fee later. That's the route I recommend people go. All right, number 6, is there a time limit to pass a trading combine? And the short answer is no. You can take as long as you want to pass the trading combine. However, do keep in mind that if you go a full month from the time that you purchased the Combine, you will get rebilled for that account for whatever the rebill amount is. Number 7, what is the max loss limit? Well, this is Topstep's kind of one rule that they advertise, and that is you will permanently lose your account if you lose this amount of money. And again, it's different depending on which account you buy. On that $50,000 account, that's the $2,000 below your starting balance, which means your floor is at $48,000. As your account grows, that floor rises with it until the floor reaches the starting balance, which in that case was $50,000. Once it reaches that $50,000 mark, then you can no longer breach that, right? That's the floor. So if you were to get your account down to $49,999, you would lose the account. Number 8, what does end of day trailing mean? Well, this means if you were up, let's say $1,500 in a trade in the middle of the day, and that trade starts pulling back against you and say breaks you out or stops you out at break even, then you essentially lost no money on that trade, and you also didn't lose any trailing drawdown. It still stayed with you because it's only going to go by the end of day balance. So if you made $1,500 on Monday and then you lose $1,500 on Tuesday, well, you only have $500 left in your trailing drawdown with Topstep. Whereas other firms who use intraday trailing drawdown, if you were to go up $1,500 in the middle of a trade, that floor moved up $1,500 with you. So if it comes back down to break even, you still lost no money on the trade, but you only have $500 of wiggle room now before you blow the account. End of day trailing drawdown is so much better and so much easier for especially new traders. Number 9, does that trailing drawdown ever stop moving? And I kind of already answered this, but yes, once it gets up to your starting balance, it stops following you. So the idea is if you can kind of slowly get yourself up to where you've made it past where that trailing drawdown is following you, you can build up a really nice cushion where that's when you can start maybe scaling up some of your trades once you're comfortable and not have to worry about blowing your account all in one trade. Number 10, what is the consistency rule? Well, I hinted at this earlier, but in Topstep, you can technically pass an account in 2 days because their consistency rule is 50%, which means no single day's profit can be more than 50% of your total profit. So if in a 50K account, you need to get $3,000 as a profit target, that means no single day can be more than $1,500. Now, if you go over, that's fine. That just means now your second day or further days, you now have to make more money. So if I was to say I make $2,000 on the first day, well, now my profit target to pass the account is $4,000 in order for me to keep it under 50% of my total profit. Number 11, is there a daily loss limit? Well, thankfully, with TopstepX, there is no daily loss limit. However, I do recommend that you set one personally, but Topstep themselves is not forcing a daily loss limit on you. The only limit that you have to worry about is your max loss limit to make sure that you don't fall below that, as well as obviously your end of day trailing drawdown. If that has moved up, you gotta make sure that you know where that is. Number 12, what is TopstepX? Well, TopstepX is their proprietary trading platform, and as of July of 2025, it's actually the only platform that is available now to trade with Topstep. So it is a web-based platform that uses TradingView as its charts. So there is all kinds of your normal tools built in. However, caveat, if you are used to using TradingView, it does not have all of the third-party indicators and stuff in there that you can use, and that may be a problem for you if you have purchased ones from other traders or you have built your own or anything like that. None of those are there. It's only the stock default TradingView indicators as well as some of Topstep's own TradingView indicators. However, I would say everything that you would generally need, your EMAs, all your volume-based different indicators, all of that is there for you to use. Number 13, can I still use NinjaTrader or Tradovate? And the answer is only if you have an existing active account from before July of 2025. If you've created an account with Topstep since July of 2025, they've moved you into their new platform, which only allows TopstepX. Number 14, is TopstepX actually good? And this is where I mentioned earlier, the Trustpilot reviews have gone haywire, and that is because when they first launched it, they did have some pretty big problems where the platform was freezing up, was locking up, was doing all kinds of various things that it should not do, and it caused traders to lose their accounts, it caused them to not be able to exit trades, all sorts of things. It was a pretty big mess. However, I believe they got all of those kinks worked out early on. It unfortunately just left a really bad mark, but I actually really love TopstepX, and I've talked about it in pretty much all of my videos, but the risk settings that they have in there are next level and are so needed in your day-to-day trading that I think every trader should use it, as well as TradingView. Charts are just so intuitive. The way that they've built in entering and exiting trades is just super smooth, and I highly recommend it. Number 15, what is the tilt? You may have seen this listed online somewhere, and this is just a sentiment indicator that's built into trading, that's not TradingView, into TopstepX, that shows you what the majority of Topstep traders on a given instrument are positioned. So are they long, or are they short, or are they neutral? So if you were looking, let's say at NQ, and you're just not sure, are we short bias, are we long bias, and you're just really confused, you could go look and see what the rest of TopstepX traders are leaning, and maybe that helps you. I don't necessarily recommend doing that, but it could give you a little bit of a boost on your bias if you need it. Number 16, what contracts can I trade with Topstep? Now, Topstep covers CME future products, so it's all the common ones that you're gonna find everywhere else. That's ES, NQ, MES, MNQ, CL, GC, MGC, right? Crude oil, I think I said that already, all of these. However, huge caveat here in 2026, we're in the end of February, they have restricted gold, and they've not really put out a statement of why they've restricted gold or when that restriction is going to be lifted. So just keep in mind, this is not just a Topstep thing. Any prop firm can, at any moment, remove, whether permanently or whether temporarily, any of the contracts that they want inside of their platform, and it's something that you agree to when you sign up for an account with them. So right this second, if gold is primarily what you trade, Topstep isn't going to work for you. But I don't see that being a long-term thing. I think we're just in some crazy volatility right now, and they will eventually reopen that back up. Number 17, what are contract limits? So contract limits with Topstep are based on your account size, and it follows their scaling plan. Now, one important note is that the scaling plan actually doesn't apply to trading combines, to your tests, your evaluations. Now, should you probably follow them just so that you can get into the habit of doing it and trade cleaner and trade smarter? Yes. Now, do you have to? No, and Topstep's not going to enforce it. So if you are trying to just max contract it and get through the test and then get into your trading combine, and you can do that, and you can do that without blowing accounts, then more power to you. But the scaling plan, once you are into a funded account, starts at the $50,000 account. You can have a max of 5 contracts, but when you are under a certain dollar amount, I believe it's $1,000 in your account in profits, you're actually limited to 2 contracts, and it kind of just scales up. I'll put the graphic on the screen here and you can screenshot it. Number 18, can you trade overnight or over the weekends? And the answer is no. Topstep does not allow overnight or weekend positions. And so If you are still in a trade at the close of the regular session, and all of the prop firms list what time that is, and it is different with every prop firm. Some of them it's a full hour before, sometimes it's 45 minutes, sometimes it's 30 minutes, sometimes it's 15 minutes, and it might even be different depending on which contract you're trading. You do need to be aware of that. Then they will automatically close out your trade for you. And some of these prop firms, Topstep does not do this, but they will actually, that will break your account. It's a rule break that actually blows your account. And so you need to be careful with that depending on who you're trading with. Again, Topstep will just close you out of your account, close you out of your trade. They will not actually close your account. Number 19, can I trade during news events? And the answer is yes. Topstep allows news trading with no restrictions. That includes CPI and FOMC and NFP. You can trade through all of this, but this is different in all of your other prop firms out there. So please pay attention to those rules. Some of them don't let you trade 2 minutes before, during, or 2 minutes after. Topstep does not limit you. Just know that it is very risky to trade during news events. Number 20, can you use copy trading or automated trading? So copy trading is permitted in a trading combine and your express funded account with Topstep. They actually have a built-in trade copier inside of TopstepX, which is wonderful. If you've ever used a third-party trade copier, you know all the ups and downs. I used to blow accounts like crazy because my trade copier did not work how it was supposed to. And TopstepX has just a beautiful trade copier that just works exactly like it should. All of your accounts open and close and do everything they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it, and it's beautiful. However, you can not use automated or bot trading with Topstep. So if that is something you're into and it's part of your strategy, then Topstep is not for you. Number 21, how do payouts work on the express funded account? So the express funded account is the funded account that you get. Everybody again has different names for all of their different accounts. This one is, they call an XFA a lot of times, which is just short for express funded account. So this is the simulated account where you are still able to earn real payouts. You pay the activation fee if you went that route, or you don't pay the activation fee if you went with the account that didn't have it. And you start with a $0 balance instead of, if you bought a 50K account, instead of starting at 50K, once you get into funded, you actually start at a $0 balance. And so you have $2,000 to lose, and you are going from 0 and up, and you are working towards your first withdrawal. So Topstep actually has 2 payout tracks that you can now choose from. This is new as of here in 2026, where you have the standard way that's been around for a long time, which is you need 5 trading days of profitable days, and a profitable day to them is $150 in profit. And once you have 5 days, they do not have to be consecutive, just 5 green profitable days of $150 or more, then you are eligible for a payout. It is a max of 50% of your account with a max of $5,000. But they've introduced a new payout plan if you want to choose this route, and you only get to choose once whenever you activate your account. And this one has a consistency rule, but you get payouts more often and bigger payouts. So what that looks like is you just need 3 trading days. They do not have to be profitable days, although obviously you're gonna have to have profit if you want to take payouts, but that is not an actual rule requirement. You don't have to have a minimum dollar amount. You just have to have 3 trading days, and the consistency rule is 40%. So unlike the test, which was 50%, you need to make sure that no single day's profit was 40% or more, and then you can take a payout up to 50% of your account balance and up to $6,000. So it's a little bit more with a little bit more frequency. All right, and then the last one for this video is, what is the back to funded feature? So if you blow your express funded account before your first payout, that's a important note. If you already taken a payout, then you cannot do this. But if you've not reached payout status yet, then you have a 7-day window that you can reactivate the account back to a funded status, not just a test. You don't have to start over, but it starts back at a $0 balance for a fee. Now this fee is pretty expensive. You know, I think for the 50K account, it's like $600. So I don't recommend that you do it, especially when probably for less than $100, you could go start a test and pass it within 2 days and be right back to that same place. So you saved $500 and you just had to spend a little bit of time. Is probably way more worth it. And I would rather you go spend, if you're gonna spend $600, go spend $600 buying 5 accounts, pass all of them, and then make $500 a day and get to payout, and you will be a happy person. All right, well, that's all the questions we're gonna go through today. If you have a specific question that came up or maybe that I didn't cover at all, please feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section and I will answer every single one of them. If we get enough traction down there, I'll make a part 2 of this and go through some more questions. As always, if you are looking to take your trading to the next level and want to start treating this more like a business and less like a hobby, I've got 2 things for you. One is I have a free trading journal template, which you can find down in the description. You can download that completely for free. It's going to help you keep track of your trades, not just your P&L, but your mindset, your rules, your executions, everything, so that you can become a better trader through evaluating your trades. And again, no strings attached, completely free down there in the description. And the second thing is, if you truly want to go to the next level, you need to watch this video right here.